event, and it does look like it's going to be really rough. High temperature only made it to 32. We have now been at or below freezing since 7:51 in the morning yesterday. 30 degrees is the current temperature. Overnight tonight, we fall to 29 in Austin. Everyone will be freezing. North winds 10 to 15, which means any precipitation that falls is prone to cause additional icy patches. And through your day Wednesday, winter storm warning in effect all day long in Austin. I think between about 2 and 3 o'clock, we finally nudged barely above freezing for a high of 34, transitioning ice over to rain and giving folks in the city points east a break. But in the hill country, you may not see your first 33-degree temperature until Thursday morning. All right, so in Austin until about 3 o'clock tomorrow. Additional ice, a quarter to a half inch plus still possible. I looked at multiple computer models coming in just now, and they all seem to be suggesting that Northwest Travis and western sections of Williamson and eastern sections of Burnett County could be the favored area for the highest pockets of ice in our area. And then rain with showers and storms expected Wednesday night into Thursday morning. But because areas in the hill country may still be freezing, that could lead to another round of additional icing that areas to the east do not contend with. Current look at radar. New moisture surging in south of I-10 and also off to our west that's starting to move into Mason County. Current radar, quiet across our area, but only temporarily as temperatures across the border as cold as 23 in Harper, 30 in Austin, just barely above freezing in LaGrange at 33. And pink is a winter storm warning for ice across all of central Texas. The last couple of hours, there's been an upgrade to an ice storm warning to our north and west. Although we're technically not under an ice storm warning, this is the same impact. Could be crippling in some spots with extensive ice expected. All right, so what I'm watching is also this area of low pressure. It has to push through on Thursday. So tonight we're getting a round, and then tomorrow we'll get another round, and then finally by Friday, sunshine returns. As far as the severity of this, folks in LaGrange points east, breathe a sigh of relief. It won't be too bad. Austin points north and west, yeah. Moderate impacts. This is going to be a long haul still yet to go with surfaces, trees. And welcome to a late night Chicks chat. I decided that given the fact that it was pretty apparent we were going to start to see the heavier precip move in, that my best bet was to get home so I could be safe while the conditions were dry, and then update you once everything got bad again. Renee, hello, and guess what? We haven't seen the boys in a long time, so we have the Ewok over here, and Skipper's over there. He's like, it's so late, I don't know about this, but Ewok wanted to come say hi. He's so big and so heavy, and he needs a haircut so badly. But hopefully y'all are staying safe at home with all of your loved ones, and I will be honest with you. You might see a hand wave at some point because one of my children, because there's no school, is right next to me, just off camera. There's Skippy. We get a Skippy sighting too. So anyway, yeah, all I can say is right now, we're starting to see the latest round push into Hays County, especially the San Marcos area. I'm starting to see the precip really pick up, and it's all going to be pushing northward. So Hays County, and then into Travis, and then into Wilco, and this is just going to continue to blossom as we head through the overnight. So thought, why not? Let's just sit around, look at radar, take a look at the latest computer models, and give you all an idea of what to expect as we continue through this ice storm, which, if any of you saw our coverage this morning on CBS Austin News, they were live from 4:30 in the morning all the way to almost lunchtime, and there were dozens of accidents. The roads were horrible despite the fact that we only officially had 6/100ths of an inch of precipitation. So quite the scene. Let's see, I already see some comments popping up here, and I'll go ahead and show you something different just to mix things up. The Hilton Cam downtown Austin, temperature right now at 30 degrees. The high only made it to 32. And there you go, just 6/100ths of an inch of precipitation. So we've got Renee on board, and Charles, Andrew, hello, Laura. I love it. It's like my late night crowd. Nice to see you all. And of course, the appearance from the boys. Yes, indeed. They're so fun. There's a blanket sitting like right off camera right here, and the boys are both sitting on it. And my little girl was sitting next to them too. So she was so funny. She's like, Mom, you haven't done one of these in a long time at home. I'm like, yeah, I know. It's kind of cool, isn't it? It's kind of comfortable. No, I looked at radar and I kind of went, should I do it at work or should I head home to where I know that I could get home safely? And then I went, you know what? Make a run for it while you can. Harold, hello to you. Renee says, listen, please don't freeze. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, anyway, I saw that earlier that you posted on Facebook. You know, the whole saying, turn around, don't drown. So, Renee, who is the master of cool things, like every Chicks Chat ism that I've come up with has not really been something that it was mine. Renee has come up with many of the little, chicks picks, chicks chats, chits, whatever. So, anyway, listen, please, don't freeze whenever the cold weather's there. That's just another way to make sure you stay weather aware, right? Mac, hello to you. Leo, hi, it's been forever. Abel, again, second night in a row. Thanks for joining in. And I get a nice smile emoji. Or is that yep, it's a smile emoji or a laugh emoji from Renee. All right, so we have now officially been at or below freezing since 7:51 in the morning on Monday. Officially, it's Wednesday. By the way, happy February. We made it through. Fun fact, January 31st, 1949, the temperature dropped to 2 degrees below zero in Austin, which is the record coldest it has ever been. There you go. Now we have opened the book to February, and it is not going to be a good day. I still think we're going to be dealing with significant icing. It's very interesting. There has been some shifting of the numbers as far as the amount of ice we could see, but what's interesting is that multiple computer models are kind of going in a very similar spot, which would be like the Bertram Oatmeal area into Burnett County, and then eastward towards, say, Florence, Andice, Liberty Hill, extending down south toward near Jonestown, just north of Lago Vista, in that corridor. So if you're out in western Travis, western Wilco, eastern Burnett, you might see the worst of this the way things are currently looking. So I'll show you computer models and all that good stuff in just a moment. Renee says, hoping for some thunder ice in the morning. Wouldn't that be something? Thunder, freezing, rain, boom, boom, boom. It is certainly not out of the realm of possibilities. Sally, hello. Thank you for checking in. It's just so awesome seeing all the familiar names. It's good. And I'm also very impressed that so many of you are on and up at midnight. But granted, I think a lot of you probably don't have to go into work in the morning, I'm hoping, and are able to stay safely at home. And if you're like me, the alarm clock is not going off at 6 a.m. because the kiddos don't have to get up and get ready for school. So this is a very good thing all the way around. All right, so here is a look at radar. And you can definitely see from this presentation why I was like, okay, I'm gonna head home now while the heading home is going well, because I could see the writing on the wall. This precip that was down over San Antonio was making its way up into Austin. So happy that I was able to sneak out. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in here just to show you that the temperatures in Bexar County are kind of on the edge, 32 or 33. But once you get into New Braunfels, San Marcos, Kyle, and now into Austin, everyone is freezing. And so this is all going to pretty quickly cause some icy conditions. In addition to that, the Northwest Hill Country also has a slug of moisture that's actually getting to be pretty consistent and a little heavier. See, if you look really closely in Mason County, you're going to see that some of these pinks are kind of on the dark side. That's the like steady sleet, or not sleet, steady freezing rain, pardon me, that is coming down in these areas through Mason County. So near the James River Eckert Bat Cave, which I did a story on over the summer. Yeah, it's coming down. So let me widen things out for you. Ooh, look at that. Folks, this is the beginning of potentially starting to see some storms develop. Anytime you see those yellows on radar, that is the more moderate to heavy precipitation rates. And all of this is basically closing in on the CBS Austin area. So clearly when you see this, you should know that it is not a good time to be out and about, and it's only going to get worse as we continue through the overnight. So on one window over on this side, I've got the latest from the National Weather Service, and the latest is that There are some places that are starting to ice over in New Braunfels, which is where the National Weather Service office is located. Cars and elevated surfaces quickly icing over. And so that's with what is currently pushing through into Hayes County. So, I mean, it doesn't take much. We're going from dry to suddenly ice. Ooh, let's zoom in a little bit more. Do you see how in Northwest Austin we're also starting to see some quick development of some heavy ice? Um, Folks, this is probably going to go downhill pretty quickly, and it's kind of daunting, to be honest with you. I'm going to go ahead and take a look, and I'll zoom in on some towns as well. Clearly, temperatures are freezing for the most part, and yeah, look at this heavy pocket northwest Austin. Um, it's very likely that folks in this little corridor where you can see those really dark shades from River Hills out toward Vandergrift, um, not far from Steiner Ranch, up toward Jollyville. This is just quickly developing within the last several minutes. This is going to be at a rate high enough that we'll see some pretty quick icing and any elevated surfaces. You know how hilly it is out on that side of town. Um, any ice is going to cause issues. So we're just watching that develop as all of this moisture is pulling in. And again, I'm like, thank goodness I didn't wait to do the handoff in person with Avery at 1 a.m. Otherwise, I would have had to drive in it. No, 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 thank you. Um, let's see. I don't want to miss your other comments. Let's see. Laura says you have work even earlier than normal. Oh, might regret this tomorrow when you wake up. Well, I'm so glad you're still hanging out with me. That's awesome. Charles says, driving home from work in the morning again. Yeah, I hope you were able to get home safely. Laura in Lakeline just got a Weather Channel notification. Yep, about to start freezing rain. You know what? I think that Weather Channel notification is spot on. Look at how it's crossing over from northern Travis into southern Wilco. Lakeline area, here you go. Yeah, I'm glad I made it home safely as well. It was one of those things where I called my husband and I was like, hey, I think I'm going to make a break for it, but then I'm going to come home and I'm going to do the chat from home. And I just kind of gave him a heads up, and he's like, all right. And it worked out. It worked out perfectly, at least for me. I do feel bad for anyone who does have to be out on the roads. I will tell you, it's like a ghost town out there. When I was coming home, I did not see very many people at all out on any of the roads, which is actually a really good thing. The most excitement I saw was there was an ambulance, thankfully without its lights on, which means it did not have an emergency situation unfolding, and two police cars that I passed, like boom, 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 as I was heading home. And that was probably like the most traffic-y it was the whole time. All right, so back we are to radar. Clearly, things are going to be getting icy and quickly, given the fact that some of these precip rates are a little more intense. So all the way from I-35, from down near New Braunfels, where we're already getting reports. This was as of 12:02. Current time is 12:20 in New Braunfels. Fresh ice on cars and elevated surfaces quickly icing over. So we know that's already moved through New Braunfels and continuing to increase. And we've got San Marcos and Kyle and into Lockhart and Niederwald and Joliet. There was a report earlier of the bridge about 4 miles southwest of Luling on I-10, which that would be corresponding to probably right in here. That overpass had iced up as well. That was from TxDOT. Laura checked the window, can see rain, can see ice on the tree about 10 feet from your bedroom window. Yeah, going down. Winter weather can be so stealthy. And the fact that we're seeing those heavier batches of precip that are moving their way from southwest to northeast, it's just, unfortunately, the trajectory of this is so bad for travel. And currently, the brightest echoes are showing up right over Lakeline, almost between the Domain and Lakeline Mall, through northwest Austin, across near Jollyville, Wells Branch. This is where some of the heaviest rain, which is freezing on contact. McNeil Road area, not too far away from the 45 flyover, which thankfully, I think earlier they said that it was closed. I believe in our 10 o'clock newscast, the 183 toll road up through Wilco was also, through Cedar Park was also closed earlier. So yeah, we're watching as there's going to be some quick icing develop as a result of this latest little batch here. All right, so let's move on because I wanted to show you some of the computer models. Oh, and Renee, thank goodness I didn't run into Bambi either. But tonight, as opposed to last night where I was like, okay, there could be icy spots, be careful. Today I was like, okay, I'm looking for deer also. And I'm glad I did. All right, temperature-wise, the only areas that are out of the real bad threat zone. I think I saw Andrew was on watching earlier. LaGrange is 33, which is just barely warm enough that you're not going to be dealing with the worst of it. Everybody else, it's going to freeze and it's not a good scenario at all. Winter storm warnings are in effect until Thursday morning, and ice is our big nemesis. It's all going to come down as freezing rain. And what's also worth noting is you may have seen word that just to our north and west, ice storm warnings have been issued. I actually saw a question from the National Weather Service as well as, or to the National Weather Service as well as one to me saying, well, why aren't we under an ice storm warning? So apparently it's kind of an office to office thing, but the National Weather Service office that covers Austin, San Antonio says that they are not using ice storm warnings, instead going with the idea of winter storm warnings so that there's better universal collaboration and communication about what winter weather threats, that instead of having all these subsets like blowing snow advisory or an ice storm warning, et cetera, there's just two. There's a winter storm warning or a winter weather advisory. And then within those, you kind of delve into and explain the threat. So in our instance, it's a winter storm warning. There's a small chance it might end as a little bit of sleet in the hill country like Wednesday night into Thursday morning. For the most part, we're just dealing with the ice. Laura says, hitting deer is not fun. Yeah, trust me. The worst part about it is whenever you hit a deer and then the last time I did was during the pandemic, and there was a shortage of everything. Oh, well, we can't get this. Well, this is on back order. And so I didn't have my car for a month, and it was not fun. So anyway, don't hit Bambi. Just don't do it. So the warnings are in place. I mean, and for good reason. Oh my goodness, when you see this wide perspective, look at how, what was so interesting is all through the evening hours, I was even talking to some of the producers at work and saying, is it me or is it eerily quiet around here? And they were like, yeah, it is. There were no reports of accidents. The roads were okay. Like it was like literally the calm before the storm. And so now it's very evident that you can see this moisture plume moving right in over the stalled cold front, and then this moisture plume running right over this part of the stalled cold front. And you might be wondering, okay, so what's really going on? At the surface, we've got this freezing layer that is just locked in. Above the surface, we've got really warm air aloft, and in the upper levels of the atmosphere, there is this big low, which you can see spinning around out west over the Baja California Peninsula in Mexico. And this upper level low is essentially spinning away and sending in Pacific moisture. So that Pacific moisture is going in over top of the cold air, and the result is basically overrunning precipitation, which is bringing us the wintry mess. And these disturbances at times bring heavier, stronger impulses of moisture in, which is exactly what we're seeing manifest itself outside right now. And I think it's going to continue all the way into the morning hours, which is going to be a really rough, awful, terrible mess. I'm going to put my Twitter on just in case. I was going to see if there were any new reports coming in. Let's see, AFD, structure fire, broken water pipe. Nope, those are not accidents. I just have this feeling there's going to be a flurry of accidents given the quickly deteriorating conditions. But as of yet, as I'm watching, I'm not seeing Armageddon break out just yet. Also, I follow an account that does ERCOT updates, and the power grid is normal. Power grid is normal. Oh boy, guess what? The Storm Prediction Center 7 seconds ago has issued a mesoscale convective discussion called an MCD, saying freezing rain, portions of the Texas Big Bend, and into the Western Hill Country. So essentially, the amount of moisture that is starting to show up on radar is concerning enough that the Storm Prediction Center, which normally brings you updates on severe thunderstorms, has done a special weather discussion. That's never a good thing for your area to be within that zone. And I'm wondering if I can pop that up on here. Let's see. I'm going to try something, you guys. We'll be back to this in just a moment, but this is to me such an interesting development that I'm going to pop up the Storm Prediction Center website and hopefully I can navigate. So here's the mesoscale discussion page, MD, and oh, it says no mesoscale discussions in effect. Lies. You just sent one out on Twitter. Let me see if I can find if it will pop up. Sometimes it's a little bit slower on the website. I'm going to try all SPC forecasts, and trust me, it's on their Twitter page. This says no mesoscale discussions on in effect, but I'm currently looking on their Twitter page, and there is indeed a mesoscale discussion. Maybe we'll check back in just a moment and we'll see if we can pop it on up there. I actually just want to read it myself, and I figure we could all read it together because essentially it would give us an inkling on the rates of precipitation, which is going to be something I think that is probably potentially could get out of hand to some extent. So stay tuned for that. Again, because we're at home and we don't have to worry about a commute, I'm here till 1 a.m., till handoff time to Avery. So, I mean, we got nowhere to go. And if you guys don't mind, listen to me yammer on, then we'll be okay. Let's see. Sally Wood, hi. Laura says, working earlier. Charles, driving home. All right, check the window. I'm going back through the comments. Thunder, sleet. Thunder anything would be pretty exciting, I think. Unless you have to drive through it. Kevin, doing great. Thank you for checking in on this late night. George, hi. And Hanson, what's up? So it takes a couple of minutes for the site to update, it seems. I know, I'm waiting. Keon says you'll stay up. Awesome. I'm still thinking of you for your Chinatown celebration this weekend. The weather's still looking great. Mostly sunny skies on Saturday. All will be well. Okay, so now what we're looking at right now is the Winter Severity Index. And essentially, this is an indicator of how bad the severe weather, severe storm, winter storm could be. And as you can see, the majority of the areas from Austin Points West are in a level 2 impact for moderate effects. And then areas further to the east are in a lesser impact, which I absolutely agree with. Okay, so I've updated my other computer, and it is indeed showing the mesoscale discussion has gone live. So here we go. Boom, right there. Check this out. And on the, seriously? I thought we got it. We showed the outline of it. You can see it right here in the blue. Okay, there you go. Hopefully y'all can see this. I know it might be a little bit small to read, but I will read it for you, and then we'll get back to the radar again and talk some more. So this is the summary. Freezing rain is forecast to gradually intensify overnight tonight as it slowly spreads north and eastward. Freezing rain rates may approach 0.05 to 1/10 of an inch per hour at times within heavier bands. Per hour, you guys. Okay, over the last couple of hours, regional radar and infrared satellite imagery have shown a gradual intensification of a band of clouds and light precipitation across portions of the Texas Big Bend and Rio Grande Valley. Associated with increasing ascent ahead of a broad upper low centered over Baja California. That's that big low I showed you just a second ago. Precip should gradually increase in coverage and intensity overnight as the low shifts eastward. Surface observations across portions of West Texas show shallow surface temperatures in the mid to upper 20s within that Arctic air mass. Mid-levels remain somewhat dry, but subtle surface dew point rises over the last few hours indicate slow saturation. You have to have a saturated atmosphere in order to get precipitation to fall all the way to the surface. So that is all undergoing right now. As broad ascent continues to intensify ahead of the upper low, precip should gradually spread north and eastward, with rates potentially intensifying to that 0.05 to 0.1 inches per hour within those banded structures. High-res guidance suggests for the greatest freezing rain rates to remain south of I-10 for the next few hours, where low and mid levels are more saturated. Freezing precip should eventually spread north of I-10 and into the western hill country as we head toward daybreak. Okay, potential for significant icing. So there you go. Now we are all caught up on the latest and greatest with this developing weather situation. I had a hunch that if I checked Twitter, I would see something new and newsworthy about this. And yeah, the news is not good, that we could potentially see things get increasingly worse. Let me go ahead and zoom out for you. I'm going to show you the entirety of this winter severity index so that you can see that there is just a huge expanse of real estate through the Lone Star State that will be in that level 2 moderate impact zone. Keon says, yikes, not good. No, not good at all. Laura says, does the rate per hour change when it's freezing rain? Would the rainfall rate per hour be higher in inches if it wasn't freezing on the way down? You know, in my opinion, yes. I think that if it's a half inch of rain, I don't think that necessarily equals a half inch of ice. I don't know exactly what the correlation is, though. But in general, I don't think it's not a one-to-one. And obviously, if it's snow, it's more like if it's a average snow, it's a 10-to-1 ratio. If it's a really dry snow, it's like a 20-to-1 ratio. It can vary. But either way, this is not good. Okay, Renee, you've got pouring in Pflugerville right now. So that is the rain moving quickly in. So that's that same slug, I think, that was over the domain earlier, moving over you right now in Pflugerville. And let me pull up the radar again. We'll see that brighter band. But what's likely happening is you're seeing the rain come down, and then if you walk outside a little bit later, something tells me that the sidewalk, perhaps, the driveway, perhaps, might be coming down in heavy fashion. Oh yeah, see? That heaviest band is right over areas on the west side of Pflugerville, according to this radar image. So there you go, from the 45 toll road near the 130 toll road in Wells Branch as well. It looks like the heaviest is going to be right there near Gaddis School Road and near the exchange, near the worst of the flyovers, right? I-35, 45 toll road. Definitely the heavy action going on right now through that corridor. Yep, plain as day, you can see the brighter freezing rain going on right here. And this is all translating its way to the north and east. So a good chunk of Round Rock, and then if it continues on, it might extend and expand close to Hutto, and then maybe Circleville, Jonah, Taylor, for a quick pickup in precip rates. Did I mention I'm glad I made it home safely before the precip moved in? I hope so, yeah. All right, let me go back. We were talking winter severity index, and now let's look at the latest computer model. And again, these computer models are not gospel. They're just a suggestion for how things may develop. Andrew says, can you explain the level 0 of the winter weather thing? Basically, level 0, if you're in that, which obviously Fayette County is included, it means like just that there could be winter weather conditions with little or no impact. You know, not a big deal. Don't worry about it. You know, oh, snowflake, oh, little ice, but not enough to cause travel impacts, not enough to like have a much ice accretion on plants or that kind of thing. So maybe a little patchy ice here or there, but nothing significant. So if you're in a level 0, then you're okay. So Fayette County points south and east. So far, so good. And as you can see, even on this computer model here, Fayette County clearly is green, while everybody else is not. Okay, so let's pretend that this computer model is 100% accurate. If that's the case, then you're going to see the heaviest precip right across the I-35 corridor, even through Caldwell, Bastrop, Milam, Lee counties, and Blanco County. That's at 1:30 in the morning. Then as we head toward around 4:30 in the morning, this is showing the band really kind of slimmer and encompassing all of the highly populated areas along I-35 as we head toward 4 a.m. Well, let's keep going. Okay, potential morning rush at 7 a.m. I will tell you, this latest computer model is showing less than it had been. In my 10 o'clock newscast, this was showing a solid expanse of precip across all of the area. In this instance, it's showing more, some of these are breaks where it's not as active in the middle of Austin, which that would be good. But also worth noting, see how there is sneaky under here, a little bit of thunderstorm activity. We could be talking thunder freezing rain, thunder ice, potentially in the pockets that are at or below freezing, and just regular thunderstorms in those that are not. So that's 7 a.m. And then as we head toward 10 a.m., well, at 10 o'clock in the morning, this is a pretty solid amount of precip area wide. Just for grins, I'm going to zoom out just so we can see the bigger picture. So at 10 a.m., essentially, again, if this computer model is right, we've got icy conditions all through here, but you can see that this is actually thunderstorms. So the moisture and the instability feeding into what will become the ice storm area is going to be plentiful and abundant. And that's through 10 a.m. So let's zoom right back in here for a little bit more and go through the rest of the computer model run. By about 2:30 in the afternoon, which is when I'm forecasting that Austin finally makes it from 32 to 33, well, you can see we're looking at rain from Giddings to Bastrop to Austin to San Marcos, point south and east. But everybody else to the north and west is still fair game for seeing additional icing. And let's keep going. This is 4:30 in the afternoon, and literally it is a very narrow expanse of rain and a much wider expanse still dealing with icing conditions. And then did I mention there's more coming Wednesday into Thursday? At least in the hill country, you probably won't see your first 33-degree reading until, I'm thinking, like 9 a.m. on Thursday, the way things are looking. I mean, it's going to be a while. All right, so impacts, and this is through Wednesday, because I think for Austin, the majority of the impacts will be through Wednesday. I think through the hill country, we're still going to have to worry about through Thursday morning, maybe even Wilco through Thursday morning. But elevated surfaces, trees, bridges, overpasses, untreated roads, all just going to have issues. Period. Some treated roads, I know that the crews get out there and treat, and right after they treat, things are good. But then those bridges and overpasses that they treat sometimes need to be retreated. So some issues on treated roads, and then some power outages possible. Not widespread stuff like what we saw 2 years ago, but instead power lines getting weighed down by ice, or tree limbs that get weighed down by ice and fall onto power lines. So it's going to be more isolated as far as the power outage potential, the way things are looking. Let's see, Danny says, well, hello. Hello to you. I do have the boys, Danny, because I know you always ask about them, but they're actually sacked out, like they're right over here, and they're sacked out right now. All right, so this is an updated look at the, oh yeah, you did miss the sidekicks. They were here. Maybe I can get one of Skippy. You want to come say hi? You say hi? Yes, we can get one sidekick in here. Skippy says hello. Oh, Ewok wants to join the party too. Ewok, you want to come say hi? You're so heavy, Ewok. Trust me, Ewok's right here too. But oh, there he is. I don't know if you could see him. Skipper wants to be front and center. Ewok. Ah, there we go. Okay, we got the crew. We got everybody. Yes, we do. So there you go. You didn't miss a thing, Danny. You didn't miss a thing. All right, so this is the latest and greatest computer model update. And if you were watching at 10 o'clock, the one thing that has shifted just ever so slightly is that there are more areas in Gillespie, Blanco, even Mason County that are looking to see some of those higher totals. And that is continuing with western sections of Wilco, northwest Travis, and eastern sections of Burnett County, which I had been highlighting already. But there may be some areas farther west that also pick up. I mean, can't help but notice 47 100ths of potential ice in Round Mountain, 42 100ths in Burnett. Let's zoom in, though, on the areas through western Wilco. Earlier, the numbers for Andice and Liberty Hill were about 2/3 of an inch. It's gone down, but honestly, not by much. And it looks to me like the heaviest might be Florence, and then just west of Liberty Hill, out through Bertram and Oatmeal. And then just so like right in here is where there may potentially be some of the biggest, worst icing. But honestly, a few miles will make a tremendous difference. In general, I just want you to be prepared for the potential that there could be enough ice that it would not surprise me one little bit if school is closed again on Thursday, especially in the hill country and especially in school districts like Liberty Hill, maybe Gerald, anyone that's out in the north and the west. It wouldn't surprise me even if Round Rock did, because some of the schools that Round Rock covers are also going to be within some of those heavier areas, and frankly, portions of Austin ISD that are in just to the west and northwest, in the Jollyville area, for instance. There could, I mean, I'm going to say, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say I think there will be cancellations on Thursday as well. Meanwhile, here we are looking at Thursday, and it's going to be a close call. Wednesday night into Thursday, there may be some additional precip. So I'm going to back it up a little bit. We're going to start at Wednesday at 10 p.m. Kind of like what we saw Tuesday until now. Remember how there was that lull where all evening long it was kind of like twiddle your thumbs, nothing going on, nothing to see here. And obviously now things are really blossoming. I kind of think we're going to be in another similar lull on Wednesday in the evening, which might mean I can get home again. That's a great idea. So maybe I get home and then we'll do this all over again tomorrow night. But there may be a lull. At the same time, we're going to be watching temperatures extremely carefully because, as you can see here, we may still have above freezing for Austin, Point South, and East, but below freezing in the hill country. And then when another wave of moisture rolls in, incidentally enough, about 24 hours from now, and some of this could include, yet again, another dose of thunderstorms with freezing rain potential, then there may be some, like the last hurrah of icing that is going on. So this is Thursday at 1 a.m., and then here's Thursday at 7 a.m. So by Thursday at 7 a.m., we're finally starting to see some spots, try to make a run at 33 or so, but it could be kind of a close call. And then the last of the moisture moves out. So through about 7, 8 a.m., there's still fair game for some pockets of ice. But isn't this a beautiful map? By 3 o'clock on Thursday, even Llano, which has been one of the really impressive icy cold spots, even Llano, 39 degrees. In Austin, 45 degrees. We will take it. And then by early Friday, we should wake up to clear skies. And through the day on Friday, we should have sunshine as temperatures warm into the 50s. And then as we head on through early Saturday, it'll be chilly in the 30s, but we're looking at beautiful weather yet again. So that's kind of where we stand with the latest and greatest on this storm system. How much additional moisture in the form of rain could we get? If this pans out, the same areas I was kind of highlighting, with the most moisture would be the ones that get the most ice too. And then in addition to the ice, a lot of it not icing up. But there could still be some pockets that see over an inch of precip. And I wouldn't necessarily take this quarter of an inch or less as gospel. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a little bit more than that that tries to develop. I'm going to quickly toggle back to the National Weather Service just to see if there's anything else going on. Oh, let's see. Um, any of you in the San Antonio area that might be watching tonight, there is a report in Bexar County from a Skywarn operator that says it's 30.8 degrees. I'm assuming this is San Antonio. It's a portion of Bexar County. And it looks as though they're starting to see things ice up. San Antonio heading north to Bulverde, and rain started, and 0.3 inches of rain. Ooh, 0.3 inches of rain already has fallen from that heavier precip in the San Antonio area. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, 31 in Ingram Park by the mall there in San Antonio. And all right. So the most problematic area of precipitation is what the National Weather Service is looking at right now coming out of San Antonio. And obviously everything that's in San Antonio is eventually going to head into Austin. All right, I'm going to go back to the radar again just so we can take another peek at it. I'm going to show you big picture radar so you can see exactly what's moving through San Antonio. That has brought some areas a third of precip already. And the question is it freezing and is it creating ice? Look at how it's all filling in. You guys, this is horrible news. I know I'm smiling. I don't mean to. I think I'm smiling because I'm so giddy that I actually got to get home before it got bad. But yeah, obviously, if we already know that a third of an inch of precip has fallen in parts of Bexar County and San Antonio, and this is all working its way north and eastward into the CBS Austin area, not necessarily will we have a third of an inch of ice out of a third of an inch of rain that falls, but there will be some that does ice up. So it'll be interesting to see plants, elevated surfaces especially. Like I think it's just going to get really slippery and it's going to cause problems. Let's see. Oh, update from a meteorologist out in San Antonio. Moderate freezing rain in Stone Oak, glazing deck, patio furniture, and reporting a driveway and sidewalk just wet right now. So, yeah, San Antonio currently reporting some of the stuff moving through. Let's see. Danny says your son's a mechanic, test drives cars he works on. Claim was that it wasn't icy except overpasses and obvious places. That is good. I think that a lot of people though get overconfident, and so especially on overpasses, just got to be super careful. I'm going to show you the temperature map too because I think that really helps put things in perspective as far as what we're dealing with. So showed you the radar, and now here are the temperatures overlaid on top of it. So while in San Antonio, temperatures are running 31, 32, in areas that this is all pushing into currently, we're looking at 27s. And so the potential for this to cause icing issues is much higher when you've got temperatures only in the 20s, which is exactly what is currently unfolding in portions of Hays and Blanco counties. So from Twin Sisters up through Blanco, heading toward Johnson City, the Pedernales Falls area, Dripping Springs, Driftwood, Wimberley, Fisher, all of these spots are going to be seeing, as you can see, some of those brighter pinks, which correspond to heavier returns. Just for kicks, I'm going to actually plot on here, instead of the winter radar, I'm going to show you the regular radar. So this won't show you that it's freezing rain, but it will show where the higher intensities are. see what I was talking about? If I do it just as radar, pretending that none of this is freezing, legit, we've got some moderate downpours that are moving across the area, which is certainly not a good thing to see. And I do believe, let me just double check. I do believe, yes, I have lightning toggled, so I'm not detecting any lightning here. However, there are, especially on northwest side of San Antonio, yeah, there's some darker yellows and oranges. I'm going to pause this and I'm going to do a query to look at what the rain rate is within this. So it's about 1/3 of an inch an hour. So not all of this will turn to ice accretion or accumulation, but some of it will. And so we're just now watching as the heaviest bands of this new batch of moisture are moving near Jacob's Well. Oh, there's 0.7 inches per hour falling out of that. North of Fisher, 45 hundredths of an inch per hour. So really it is picking up. And this is just going to continue to filter in from southwest to northeast across the area. So, not a good sign. It is literally just a matter of time for things to go even more downhill, given that the precip rates are as high as they are, coinciding with temperatures that are around 27 degrees. Whew, crazy. All right, you guys have stayed up with me until 12:53. You know what this means. We only have 7 more minutes before we can officially hand off to Avery Tomasco and the CBS Austin Morning Crew. By the way, also, for yet again another day, we're fortunate to have Austin Burks, who will be helping out from morning into the early afternoon, kind of bridging the gap between Avery and me, so that should anything happen, like what's happening right now, even in the middle of the night, 24/7, someone's got your back, someone's watching, someone's making sure that you have all of the latest and greatest that you need. Another thing that I'm going to check, just because I haven't in a while, but I think it's worth doing, is, I just have to find it. We're going to go check the text dot, because I have a feeling that we're going to see more and more roads having issues. And in gray, those are spots that are reporting icy patches, which it looks to me like there are many areas that are currently dealing with that. Hold on just one second. I'll be right with you. Oh, what's going on? Stand by for 1 second. So anyway, sorry about that, you guys. Avery got in and I was just making sure that he knew. I was typing to him on the weather computer. So we'll end it with this, but basically TxDOT is already showing a number of locations that do have some icy patches in place. And so great news for you. Now that I know that Avery's in-house, we've got the morning meteorologist in play. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up Facebook Live for the night. And boys, do you want to say goodnight one more time? No, they're like, yeah, we're totally sacked out. By the way, sorry about the light on this camera. I wasn't able to like focus it specifically, and so it keeps on kind of going in and out, but is what it is. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. Avery's got your back through the overnight. Austin will be in the morning. Things obviously are going downhill, so please be safe. And if you don't have to be on the roads, don't be on the roads. Again, I'm super happy that I did come home so that I could be safe as well. All right, so that's it. Here's a look at the website, and take care and be safe.